We're going to talk a little bit here about our show utensils, our show stick that we're going to use. And, you think back the history of livestock shows, and one of the things that we all started off with was the wooden cane. And you still actually will see this pop up in the show ring every once in a while, people still using these products. So, but where it all started was the wooden cane is what we drove hogs with years ago, and then it kind of evolved and technology's involved, and now we have so many more options than what we did several years ago. So, the cane is something that people still use. I think another tool that you see very commonly is a show pipe, and the pipes work extremely good. They are really good to use at home as well in terms of training of these pigs. I think it's very useful out there. But there are some hogs that we're going to talk about some whips here in a little bit, but there's some hogs that don't respond well to whips, and that's the biggest way that we determine how and what tool we're going to use to drive hogs with. It's not necessarily what the show person wants, it is what the animal wants, it's what the hog wants. That's how you determine what you're going to use and drive the hog with. There are some hogs that just simply don't like and don't respond well to the whip, and that's where the pipe comes in and is very good, useful tool. Definitely it's not something that you just throw away and say I can't use a pipe, because they certainly have a place in what we're doing and work extremely well. Then I think you have several options as you go along with it in terms of different styles of whips. And the standard whip, I'll call it here, is one that works extremely good with the little replaceable flapper on the end of them. Those are something that a lot of people use. You get good control out of them, have some different links, and you have to figure out the most comfortable link for that show person. I think that is the thing, is there's not a right or a wrong in terms of the correct link to use. It's more of what is the most comfortable for that show person using them. So we went from the cane to the pipe, and then we get into these whips. This was more of a standard whip, and now we've really taken that and almost went to another level. And another thing that we've came out with is this gel handled whip, and this gel handled whip has become very popular, and it has several, it's so comfortable in your hand. And a story about the gel handled whip, Cameron, my oldest son, last year at this Indiana State Fair showmanship competition, was using the standard whip, and he was in the last class of the day. He got through the class, went into the overall championship for crossbred, and then went for the grand drive. And in those 3 consecutive drives, his hand became very wet and became very slippery, and he chose to go to the gel handled whip in the overall final drive, because he could put his thumb and really place his thumb hard into that gel, and we weren't getting any slippage with the whip. So the gel handled whip is something that it has become very popular. It's very good, very comfortable, but again, the replaceable popper on the end kind of deals that work extremely well there. Another thing is that you go back for years, the old bat that you've seen a lot of people use. This kind of a structure on the end of it was something that was used a lot of times in there. We've kind of taken that bat idea and involved into a new style whip that I think is going to be really good. This whip is something that is new to the market out there, that is very good in terms of having leather on the end of this whip. And a lot of times we use these whips and we find that they don't last as long as we would like, because the nylon in here doesn't wear as well. Well, now with this new technology that we have of using the leather on the end of it, they last so much longer. And then the other thing is with the style of this is the reaction that we get with this whip is just phenomenal. I think we get more control out of this whip than we do with standard whips, and it's a whip that my kids will tell you a lot of times is once you start using this whip and you get comfortable with it, you won't go back to another style just because of the extra control that you do get with this whip. So you have a lot of options here to choose from. There's not a right or wrong, as I said before. It is more what you, the showman, want to use, and as well as what your project, your swine project wants to use as well and feels the most comfortable with.